Hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. Thank you so much for watching all our videos this evening. You've seen Carl with the live watch along, you've seen Sam with the quick thoughts, and you've seen me and Matt with the fan reaction show. And a big thanks to everybody that has been involved in tonight's shows. This is Scoring the Players. This might be depressing, difficult, but at least I might have a smile on our face because you've got Mr. Muller there.
Yeah.
And Mr. Carl Bryant as well. Good evening to you both. Right, let's start because this is
it a good evening? I'm not so sure. Have we all calmed down yet?
It's great to see you two. That's probably the best it's going to be for this evening, anyway. Right, I'm going to start with Carl Darlow. Obviously,
you've been very generous to yourself there, haven't you?
Maybe. I'll start with Carl Darlow. Look, you could have done anything about the penalty. It's a 50-50 at best. Made a couple of saves in the first half. He came out for a couple of punches in the second half, but again, it was a difficult performance. I'm going to give Carl Darlow 6 out of 10, and I don't think there'll be any scores higher than that tonight. Unfortunately, if you want to get your ratings in, I don't think any outfield player is going to score well tonight. But let's see how it goes. Five
depressing, isn't it? How Darlow is just our man of the match pretty much every week, and it's just taking the piss now.
It is. It's so annoying. So annoying. 5 at the back tonight, Sam. Obviously not your preferred formation. Not many Newcastle's fans' best formations that we play. We'll start left to
mate.
We'll start from left to right. We'll start with Paul Dummett. Sam.
Didn't look fit. Didn't offer anything going forward, which I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Dummett, but he's a centre-back now and has been for a good while. If you're going to play wing-backs especially, then, and Lewis isn't fit, why are you not playing Matt Ritchie? Why? Because Dummett clearly wasn't fit. Look at him. Didn't offer anything going forward. Defensively, he was okay, I suppose, but again, it just looked off the pace, and just shouldn't have been on the pitch, really, should he? I'm giving him a 4 because, let's face it, no one covered themselves in glory tonight. One of the big things about playing wing backs is so you can get width and you can attack across the wings, down the wings, get crosses into the box, and he did nothing. Anything remotely near that. We set out so defensive. I mean, we'll get to Steve Bruce by all means. We will get to that man. But for now, Dummett's getting a 4 from me.
I think, Carl, I'm going to ask you this. I thought both wing backs struggled with Sheffield United's overlaps because when they were playing the football quite quick, there was always a gap that they were coming in there, particularly the first half as well. And I thought we were really poor. We were just ball watching, and we're just kind of like, have we not expected this? Sheffield United have only been doing this under Chris Wilder since he came at the club.
Absolutely, and what baffled me as well, for all the pace that DeAndre Yedlin's got, constantly chasing the ball. Like, I know he knows he's got pace, but at least, utilise it when you have to. Don't put yourself in a position where you've got to be chasing the ball for fucking 78 minutes. Like, what are you doing? So, I agree 100%. We were just ball watching and just not doing our homework or not listening to whatever's been put out, or if there is even any tactics being put out, just not adhering to them. I don't know what's going on. Everyone seems to be regressing more and more without, which is frustrating, really frustrating.
Carl, I'm going to let you continue with Kieran Clark. I'm going to put it out there, probably the best outfield player tonight.
By a country mile for me, mate. I thought whatever score you would have given Darlow, I'd give him 1 under, because I think Darlow does deserve man of the match. So Kieran Clark is what did you give Darlow?
6, yeah.
I'd give it. I think he deserves a 6 then, personally. I think he made 10, 11 or 12 clearances, something like that. It just seemed like he was constantly being left or let down by everyone else around him in terms of positioning. Wasn't right from the rest of the defenders or the midfielders. He's that nitty-gritty centre-half that we we've come to know and love. He's consistent. Like we said, that it was unfortunate that he was the one to kind of give the goal away against Arsenal, because he's a very, very good ball playing centre half for us. And I don't think he had a bad game tonight at all. Considering, to be honest, I thought he had a good game context. So yeah, easy 6 for me. Sorry.
It's all right. He's just been drinking his sorrows away, as Carl said. He's probably got something in the back of his throat. Federico Fernandez is next for me. The man that gave away the penalty. Made a fantastic challenge in the first half to stop Ollie Burke from having a one-on-one chance against Darlow. But the penalty is what people are going to discuss. I think it is a penalty. I know it's a bit of 6 and 2 threes between him and Billy Sharp. But it does look like, the more times you watch it, he's putting his arm towards the ball because he panics. He panics and he thinks Billy Sharp might have the better of him. And unfortunately, it's cost us the game tonight. Look, I say it's cost us the game. There's more to meet the eye than that. But on that one particular moment, and the fact that Sheffield United have won 1-0, that moment will be highlighted. I'm giving Federico Fernandez a 3 out of 10 this evening for his performance today. It was just really tough to watch because our defence were getting peppered all the way through, and I think if it wasn't for the fact that it was Sheffield, he did. It was a fantastic cross, but when you look at the fact that it's the penalty that's won the game for Sheffield United, you've got to be a bit harsh, unfortunately. But I don't think we'll see many bad performances from Federico Fernandez from now at the end of the season, because we don't get many. We might have had the 1 or 2 in more recent times. But consistently, since he's been at the club, he has been very steady at the back. But that penalty is the difference tonight in terms of the scoreline anyway. Sam, Fabian Schar had a right battle with Billy Sharp towards the end of the game. Nearly scored, or did he nearly score with Newcastle's first shot on target in the 63rd minute with a free kick in our own half?
No, he didn't nearly score. We never looked like scoring after that Wilson chance in the first half, which would have been a cracking finish had he converted, but he didn't. But there you go. Schar lost his head a little bit towards the end of the game. After that Sharp challenge, I assume VAR was having a crafty ciggy round the back of the bike shed whilst that 100%. Was being evaluated, because it was a shocking tackle. Pushed up into centre midfield in the second half, which I don't understand why, because we already had 15 centre mids on the pitch and they were all trying to play in centre midfield, and none of whom were doing a very good job of that. I'm giving him a 4 because I thought he was better than Fernandez and not as good as Clark. It's just shite. I mean, they nearly had a clean sheet had it not been Fernandez's penalty. I don't think the defence was the problem today. It was going forward that it was. Maybe Schar didn't get forward enough. We're used to him charging, especially when, in the glory good old days when it was Lejeune, Lascelles and Schar at the back. We were used to seeing Schar bomb forward.
Where are you, Florian? Where are you?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've recalled 3 lads from loan today, but my word, we should be recalling Lejeune because he's the best centre-back we've got. It just poor. He was, but what irritates me the most, and I did reference it on Quick Thoughts, that we were used to, we'd lost our composure, which is not something we've done for a good long while. Normally, we kind of always managed to carve out half a chance towards the end, but players like Schar lost their cool by the end of the game. Hayden was another one that did. So disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing. Next up, right wing back was DeAndre Yedlin. How many times do we have to talk about our right back options or right wing back options and get frustrated when we talk about it? Because I am fed up, absolutely fed up. What did he do against Arsenal to warrant starting against Sheffield United? I really don't know what he did. Now, a lot of people are saying Jacob Murphy in that right wing back position. Right wing back position, you can argue that. Right back, we've seen what happened against Leeds. Similar to Dummett, as I mentioned in the first half, was ball watching as Carl hit the nail on the head. 2 for DeAndre Yedlin tonight. I think he was really, really, really poor. Just couldn't get into the game at all. He had a couple of crosses which didn't beat the first man, which was typical DeAndre Yedlin. Look, we've got DeAndre Yedlin out of contract in 6 months. We've got Jacob Murphy out of contract in 6 months. And Javier Mankey wasn't even on the bench today, or Emil Kraft. They weren't even in the matchday squad.
I don't understand this with Mankey because you see pictures of him in training. So where is
9
he?
substitutes, Sam, and them 2 aren't even on the bench.
We never had a defender on the bench. But again, like on the opposite flank, if you're going 5 at the back and playing wing backs, you have a remotely attacking minded player as your wing back.
This is infuriating me just even thinking about it. Honestly, what the fuck is he thinking?
It's just so poor, so poor. Like, look. If Newcastle are going to sell him, just sell him.
Well,
Seriously.
you're not getting any money for him, so just
you're getting more than letting go on a free.
Yeah,
just frustrating. Carl, let's move into the midfield. We'll start with Ryan Fraser. Idiotic, pathetic, stupid. Lost his head, as someone said in the Family Action Show, which I think was pretty much nailed on. I think it was just he lost his head after the yellow card. He couldn't get into the game because Sheffield United had the majority of the ball. We were kind of chasing shadows, and he had this imaginary free role at times where he was trying to get involved with Wilson, which just didn't happen. Hopefully, we never see that again from Ryan Fraser, and hopefully he can only get better with him because he has got ability. We have seen glimpses of that in a Newcastle shirt.
Definitely, I think we all wanted him in the side. And I think you said,
100%.
I think you said, Jonny, yesterday that you'd prefer him to come on rather than be starting, and be an impact player. One, because I think, we know he wasn't fit enough to play 90 minutes. So starting him from the start, I think Adam said at the start of the watch along as well, he expected him to come off within 55 to 60 minutes. And I think it proved that he wasn't fit enough tonight. I think, yes, it was definitely stupid to go and do what he's done after just getting a booking to do that so soon after. But I think a lot of it's come down to him not being fit and losing his head at the same time, which is a shame because he's got bags and bags of talent. But he has got this side to him as well. But like you've hit the nail on the head there as well with regards to him having this free role. I don't think he knows where he was playing. I don't think any of them did. I thought Shaw Longstaff was playing right wing at one point.
Leave that because I've got a great little thing for you. When we talk about Steve Bruce, leave that one for us on that one.
Yeah, so score-wise, 2. Yeah, I could say 0, but I won't be that harsh. 2.
I just expect more of him.
Yeah.
What did you say, sorry, Sam?
I was so looking forward to him playing, but the way he played, there's no wonder he was where he was played. No wonder he got frustrated. But it was two idiotic tackles. Stupid.
Jeff Hendrick for me. Lost the ball countless times. Was chasing shadows in the second half. I don't think he knew where he was playing today. I really don't. Only one slightest of good things. He put a half decent cross in, which Wilson should have probably done better when you look back at the game now in the second half. A generous 2. Very
generous.
I'm only putting a generous 2 because of Fraser getting a 2, because I would have gone 1 with Fraser.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So that's why I'm going a generous 2 for Jeff Hendrick this evening. Just absolutely awful today. He played centre mid, he played left wing, he played right wing at all times today at Newcastle. He played literally every position in midfield today at some point.
Second half in the midfield, we had four centre mids.
Oh, this is what I was going. I'll just say it now. We had Fabian Schar as a DM, okay, with Sean Longstaff just a little bit higher, but it wasn't like off Wilson, okay. We had Isaac Hayden. Isaac Hayden was at the right of a 4 midfield. Hayden,
pacey winger, obviously.
Jeff Hendrick left-hand side, played the full 90 minutes.
Well, they do call Hendrick the Irish Almiron.
I don't care if he's the Irish Almiron. I want to be a good player for Newcastle. Oh my God, 90 minutes. Oh, Hendrick or Joe Linton. That's what I'm thinking at the minute. Who was worse? Hendrick or Yedlin, in terms of who would I rather have on the football pitch? If they were the only two people at the minute, who would I rather have? Hendrick by
It depends. Are they going to be played in their correct position? Which we all know is Jeff Hendrick's correct position is centre mid, and we all know Joe Linton's proper position is substitute. So it depends where they're going to be played.
I was going to say his partner in crime, but he played everywhere tonight. Did Jeff Hendrick. Sean Longstaff. I thought at the start of the game, Sam, he was almost like a number 10 at times, just because he was so advanced. And I thought, well, if we can go with this, I'll be quite happy. But obviously the red card, he had to get put back into centre midfield. He was running around constantly. I know I gave Hendrick a 2, but I felt a bit sorry for him. I felt sorry for him and Longstaff at times watching them in the midfield, because what do you do when you look at the midfield option that we had today?
I don't know. Absolutely crackers. Them pairs shouldn't have been on the pitch, because they both played 120 minutes at Arsenal.
Exactly.
To play one of them is kind of excusable, so long as you had a fresh pair of legs in there, i.e. Matty, who just sat on his hands on the bench all day. But to have both of them in there is just downright bizarre. What are you hoping to achieve in such a negative formation? I still don't know what formation we played. I know we played wing backs, but I don't know for the life of me.
We don't know anything after that.
I don't know what shape we played, as you say, in the second half. I'm giving him a 2 because he was no worse than Hendrick, but shouldn't have been on the pitch. I do sympathise with him and Hendrick, who, let's not forget, Hendrick had a decent game at Arsenal on Saturday. Again, when he was played in the correct position. With Hendrick, he was a good squad player, nothing more, shouldn't be playing every game. Sean, it should have been Matty tonight. We all know this. Yeah. Why rest him for Arsenal when you weren't going to play him tonight? It's just crazy decision making. We needed a performance from Sean, as you say, to push forward and be the most advanced in the midfield. Didn't really get a chance to, because the whole shape was an absolute mess, which shouldn't have been the case. The shape has been so much better in the last 3 or 4 games when we've been playing some decent teams. And we've just thrown it all away tonight and just made a complete cock-up of things. Well, we haven't. Steve Bruce has, as we will get to. But, poor. The midfield was an absolute mess. Horror show, clusterfuck, everything. It was just absolutely shocking tonight. No energy, no creativity, nothing. Absolute embarrassment from start to finish.
You look at that performance 2 years ago when Sean Longstaff burst onto the scene, as Mika Richards likes to say, against Manchester City. And, it was disciplined. We know what we're getting. It was so... the understanding of what a manager wants to get out of a player was perfect for that game. And you look at him now and you just look... You must look over going, I need help. I need some help. I need some direction from the top. And he's just getting nothing. I feel sorry for him at times. I really do.
It's costing him his career. Both them 2 lads. What is he doing to Matty? What's he doing? And Sean just, it's so disappointing, because I know they've got it in them.
Yeah, so do I. Carl, Hayden, has played a lot of football bar the Leicester game. Again, you could argue that maybe he shouldn't really play, because he played 120 minutes against Arsenal in the FA Cup. But he's so important in Newcastle at times. But I'd love to know what he's thinking, because like today, you can kind of echo the similar thoughts to what we think of Sean tonight, what we think of Jeff Hendrick tonight, what we think of maybe Fabian Schar tonight. And when they play midfield, it was just a running a losing battle.
Absolutely. I personally am going to give him a 5. I thought at times he was solid, but he did he put in some rash challenges that would kind of almost put us under pressure at times. But he seemed like the only one who had any sort of sense of direction in that midfield. And like you've said, I think we hate comparing it, but like when Rafa was here, we were playing these formations, but you hit the nail on the head in the terms of not just playing the formation. Every player knew what they had to do in every scenario of playing that formation. So, if Sean's going to drop forward, then Hayden would know where he's got to be. Or, if Hayden's forward, Sean knows where he needs to be. But everyone was interchanging all over the midfield because no one knew what the fuck was going on. And I've seen Sunday League teams set up better than what we were set up tonight. And I'm not even joking. Like, it was that Sunday League teams who have more direction than what Newcastle United had tonight in the Premier League against bottom of the league. So unbelievably frustrating. But Isaac Hayden, he is consistent. I don't think he had a bad game, but a 5, maybe generous 5, but I'd give him a 5.
I think five's about right. I do. The whole midfield looked tired. It was a real tired, sloppy display. Really tired and sloppy, but which makes it all the more baffling why Matty wasn't playing.
Yeah, very, very, very well said by Mr. Milner. Callum Wilson up top. I feel like I'm missing a player, bar Callum. Like, I've got Callum Wilson. I have said everybody that's in the start 11, Sam. I'm gonna bar Wilson.
Yeah, it's just because everyone was playing in midfield, mate. So we just that's why.
I'm getting so
yeah.
confused.
We've done the 17 centre mid. We're on Wilson now.
Have we finished the midfielders? Have we? Brilliant. Callum Wilson, he's getting a 5 as well. Now, for me, I feel so sorry for him in terms of the isolation that we've all talked about. What service with the little service he's getting. He's still nearly scored 2 goals tonight. Obviously, Fernandez's cross, which for Callum Wilson, you might expect him to score. You expect him to do a little bit better. And the fact he didn't even get on target, he'd be thinking, what have I done there? That's a guilt-ridden opportunity. And you're thinking that if it's 1-0, maybe, well, we haven't played well, but we can go ahead and maybe we can, improve from then on. Wilson hasn't scored in open play since November. Well, that is very worrying, to say the least. And with probably what Hendrick's best cross of the whole game, I think Wilson's got to do better in the second half as well. He's got to get on target. Aaron Ramsdale is probably statistically the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah,
we did make him work tonight.
And he was bloody half blinded in the second half. His contact lens got dislodged. We barely had a shot at him.
That comment that's just come in there.
As well.
That comment that's just come in there from Ginger. Like, if that's true, nothing else needs to be said.
Just on his performance tonight, though, so isolated. And as soon as Fraser gets sent off, he must be thinking, I'm just going to be running around for 45 minutes in the second half. Carroll comes on and you're thinking, right, can they work together and get something? But it was too little too late. Newcastle only started attacking when we went 1-0 down, which was always going to happen. As soon as Fraser comes off, we're playing for a 0-0 draw. Some would argue we played for a 0-0 draw before a ball was even kicked today. But that will be very, very soon when we discuss the manager. Yeah, but 5 out of 10 for Callum Wilson. Tough night for him. Substitutions, Sam. First one up was Matt Ritchie in for Paul Dummett. A few crosses in. I thought he might have had that free kick on the edge of the box on the 90th minute.
Probably just the wrong side of the goal, wasn't it? Just favoured the right footer. Ritchie, when he came on, should have started for me. But I know we said players were tired and whatnot, but Dummett was knackered. Ritchie had still run himself into the ground. Scoring-wise, it's tricky because we were always chasing the game and it was just pathetic for the vast majority of the game. I'm going to give him a 4.5 because he was better than Dummett. But there was no real opportunity for him to get forward properly, was it? Because we were a man down. I'd have liked to have seen substitutions made, the latter substitutions made a bit sooner. Ritchie trying to whip him in and Murphy trying to whip him in to find Carroll and Wilson. That had potential because I still thought the game was a winnable game even at 10-minute half-time. I still thought if we were positive about things, the game was still there to be won because Sheffield United are that poor. But, Ritchie, 4.5 for me.
Karl, Andy Carroll was next up, who was brilliant against Arsenal. He really was. I think we weren't surprised to see him on the bench because obviously it was only 3 days ago that he played that 105 minutes against Arsenal. Again, effort-wise, you can't really say anything with Andy Carroll because he's trying to win every single header. He's trying to get us up the pitch. He's trying to, do something. Did he have enough time to really get a score in?
Probably not for me, mate. No, I think, what does he have, 14 minutes, something like that?
I don't even think he had that long, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. No, like you said, he is what he is. He's consistent in that. But he's always going to put effort in, but not enough time for him to change the game, unfortunately. So, yeah, I can't really give him a score.
This was his game to start up from with Wilson. Been saying it for weeks. As you will, I'm sure you will. I know.
Sorry,
I know what you're going to say. As soon as he played against Arsenal, he was never going to play tonight. I know, but this was the game for him to play up top with Wilson. It was that kind of game to really make a nuisance of the Sheffield United defenders. It's so frustrating because, again, he did show some promise when he came on, and his confidence has increased over the past couple of weeks, getting that goal against Leicester. Solid performance, should have won us the game at Arsenal. This was the game for him tonight to really show why he is still at the club. So it wasn't to be though.
Jacob Murphy's going to get the same non-applicable. Had that free kick, which was straight into the hands of Ramsdale. Nice, easy save for the goalkeeper. But yeah, didn't have enough time to really make an impact at all. Some would argue that he should have started tonight. Steve Bruce. Now, this is going to be interesting, gentlemen. Right. He said beforehand that Newcastle aren't in a relegation battle because there's just enough points between ourselves and Fulham. Now, Fulham have got 2 games in hand now on us. Play Spurs tomorrow night. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the actual performance, the tactics. And this is what you need to be judged on as any manager before you look at anything. 5 at the back against Sheffield United, Karl, is inexcusable. Because 2 points from their first 17 games, 2 points from 51. They haven't won a game in the league all season. Why on earth are we playing 5 at the back and add Jeff Hendrick in that as well and leave Callum Wilson so isolated so it makes his job so difficult for him today?
He doesn't know what he's doing. He genuinely doesn't know what he's doing. We've spoken about this quite a lot in terms of how much football's moved on. These tactics don't work anymore. They don't work, and they especially don't work if you're not able to drill them down to individual moments within the game and individual scenarios. Like we were well drilled as a side, very well drilled. We were drilled for each scenario. If things were happening, we were able to react to that, and we were able to stifle teams. We don't do that anymore. We just roll over because there's no direction for any footballer on that pitch at all. And like you said, as soon as I saw that Callum Wilson was up top on his own, I was just like, what is the point? What is the point? It's going to be the age-old thing where he's going to have zero support. He's got nothing to work with. He's going to be chasing loose balls, and we're going to rely on Cole Darlow to keep us in the game and Callum Wilson to nick a goal against bottom of the league, who have been terrible in comparison to what they were. They were a far better side last year, and we went out and attacked them in both games and beat them. So why has he suddenly decided that the best thing to do is to sit back and roll over? It's because he's now had charge of the club for nearly almost 2 seasons, and he's actually got his kind of claws in, and the players now don't know what to do. But it was still fresh when he took over from Rafa. They still had those tactics in mind. They still knew what they were doing, and that's gone, unfortunately, because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's changing things from week to week. He's not even doing that, is he really? But his go-to is 5 at the back, and I just, like you said yesterday, because you predicted that was going to be the case, Jonny, and I just thought, really, is he that daft that he's going to go out and try and get a point against Sheffield United, just sit back and try and nick one on the counter, and then consistently blame the fact that we haven't got players or enough quality, which is utter garbage, and then complain about not being able to spend money? He's bought players. He's bought the players that he wanted to bring in. He's done the recruitment. So what's the issue? He's the common denominator at every point. We said it 4 games in that this was going to happen, and we've been berated, and it's happened week in, week out, week in, week out. And
your score?
0. You know, I'm not going to be. I can't go minus really, but yeah, 0. 0. I could go on and rant about him all night, but I know you two want to do that as well. So
it's Sam's turn next.
Yeah.
Sam, Sheffield United at one point in the second half had 88% possession of the football. Chris Wilder brought on Ryan Brewster after 50 minutes, so 5 minutes after that second half. He then brings on Billy Sharp. He's going for it. He knows that Newcastle are all over the place, to say the least, and that comes from the very top. The formation was wrong. The personnel was wrong. Matty Longstaff must be thinking, what have I got to do to start this game? I was left on the bench against Arsenal, probably because I'm thinking I'm going to start against Sheffield United. Callum Wilson must be thinking, hold on, why am I up front on my own? The midfield looked all over the place. There was no direction. Where do we start with him tonight, Sam?
I'm already disappointed because he hasn't been sacked yet. I wanted him sacked before he got on the team bus on the way home. I wanted him to hitchhike home or walk home. He doesn't deserve to have that badge on his coat, on his training gear. Claims he's a Newcastle fan. Is he? Fuck. He's a Man United fan. Yeah, absolute delusional. I was going to say the word delusional tactics, but there wasn't any. Wasn't any tactics. He's just delusional in every sense. His head's gone. He has to go, and he has to go now. Absolutely. I don't know what he was trying to achieve tonight with that team. And when was the first time we really started berating the point that he should leave? Because on this channel, we're all fairly on an even keel and don't make any rash claims, and we're fairly well balanced and quite analytical. But we've been saying he should be going for months now. Months and months and months. There's been some absolutely inexcusable performances this season, and nothing's been done. There's been so many players regressing. What's happening at the training ground? How are they spending their time? I know it was shut for a week, but Jesus Christ, even kids have half term at school, and they don't lose everything they've learned over the past however many terms. It's really concerning, and now is the time to be, well, the time has been and gone to be proactive instead of reactive. We've got to be reactive before it's too late, because where's the next win coming from?
It was made as a very good point in the fan reaction show that our next 8 games on paper before we take on Villa, West Brom and Brighton in March are horrific, by the way.
I know. And the thing is as well, this is a point I've made previous a couple of times, so I don't want to go into it too much because it's like beating a dead horse. He recruited well in the summer. He recruited well. He had excuses last season and did a good job under the circumstances. He recruited really well. Jamal Lewis, Liverpool wanted, and he's a cracking young left back, and he's been atrocious since he's came with us by 1 or 2 performances. Callum Wilson, I feel sorry for because he can do so much better than this team. Ryan Fraser was one of the best, hottest wingers available. That 12, 18 months previous to him signing for Newcastle, you'd have had to have paid 30, 35 million for. And we got him for free. Hendrick, fine squad player, shouldn't be playing every game. Fine as a backup. He's another Ki Sung-young. It's absolutely ludicrous how he's setting a team out. It's an embarrassment to the shirt. It's an embarrassment to the badge. It's
0.
Oh, 100%. That was never any
spoiler. It's a spoiler alert.
That was never in any doubt whatsoever. 0. Worst it's been. I mean, I stuck up for him I stuck up for him to a point previously, because I always said that McLaren was as bad as it got, and McLaren was worse. Bruce is getting there.
Right, now it's me. Spoiler, it was going to be 0, so I'm glad the others agreed. First things first, because we probably haven't said this, Sheffield United deserved the win. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
They played some fantastic football. It was actually quite nice to watch if you were probably a neutral or a Sheffield United fan, and they deserved the 3 points. But I completely agree with both. there was no tactics. There was no plan A, never mind a plan B tonight, and there hasn't been that case for a long time. I said jokingly to Sam before he did score, what was it, the quick thoughts. I said, that was the worst I felt since Brentford, and that was only a month ago.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was bruised out after Brentford. Brentford was the big thing for me because it was a good chance for a semi-final. Look, we might not have won the cup, might not have won that semi-final, but that was the minimum with the draws that we had, and it was Brentford's second string.
Yeah,
options were hard, but when you go back on tonight, it's game over for Bruce for me. It's game over for, I would say, 99.9% of Newcastle fans. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And Sam's right. We recruited really well, recruited brilliantly, and we were buzzing with the players that we brought in. But he hasn't improved them. He hasn't made us better. And if we keep Steve Bruce in a job, we're definitely in a relegation battle, in his words. Because in our words, we are in a relegation battle because the teams will slowly but surely catch us up and we'll surely come down because it's only going to be a matter of time. Get your thoughts in. Yeah, go on, Sam.
No, I was just saying. I mean, it was way past that point before Brentford. I mean, the Southampton and Chelsea back-to-back games. That did it for me. Yeah, two very similar performances, which were two of the worst I've ever seen. But to say before this game that we're not in a relegation battle is very ignorant or very arrogant. Both, possibly. Yeah. But he's commented about his future today. He's not going to resign. He's not going to quit. Why would he? Because then you're doing yourself out a bit of a compo, ain't you?
Exactly.
That's for the
quick question. Sorry, Sam. Quick question for both of you. Will Ashley panic? Will Ashley, after watching that and watching the last 8 games, will he panic? I'll start with Carl first. Will he panic and go, I'm going to push the button, I'm going to get rid of him, get somebody else in?
You know, I kept thinking, and it's because a lot of people say to me, Steve Bruce won't go, but I think Ashley's going to shit himself because I've seen before, not just this, in a lot of things, when he's putting the pressure, you can see in his face, he shits himself. He doesn't know what to do. I genuinely think he's going to push the button. And if 1 ounce, if there any sort of conversation from anyone around him says we need to get rid of him, here we go, 100%. Don't get me wrong, like I know what people say that they don't expect him to go because he's a yes man, this and that. But Mike Ashley cares about Newcastle as a profitable entity. They're not that if we get relegated again, and I think even he's astute enough to know that. And if he's not, then he's a fucking moron, and we deserve what we get, and he deserves what he gets at the end of the day. Tonight we were it was a championship side against a championship side, and we come off worse again. Like I've people who follow League One teams telling me every week how bad we are. We've gone on about Bruce's tactics before and we've berated him for it, and rightly so at times, but tonight is the worst performance I've seen from us and lack of direction from players in a long time. So I'm starting to think that Mike Ashley, if he's seen any of this, he's got to think, you know, I've got to push the button, especially if there's things going on behind the scenes, which I don't claim that there are, don't know, there might be, there might not be. But if there's any ounce of that, he has to. And if he doesn't, it says a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Sam, very quickly, do you agree with Carl? Do you think Ashley might panic or not?
I don't think sacking Bruce would be panic. I think it'd be the right thing to do to look after your investment. I don't think it'd be panicking at all. It's the right thing to do. Panicking would have been doing it midway through last season. That would have been panicking.
Do you think he's the type of character, though, Sam, where, he doesn't follow us enough? He just gets,
he's an odd one because he sacked Allardyce arguably too soon. I don't think it was too soon, but, you could make a case for it. He sacked Chris Hughton. Disgraceful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But kept McLaren and Carver in the job far, far too long. So, and then you don't make any actions about Rafa and this, that, and the other. And it's just a very difficult one to predict. But it wouldn't be panicking. If he was to get rid of him, it would be sensible, if anything, because you can't afford another relegation. The first relegation was a disgrace. The second one was absolutely inexcusable.
He can't let this happen a third time, surely.
Well, he shouldn't do because, again, recruited well. So it's not his fault. It's only his fault if he sticks with Bruce until the bitter end.
Because we've been on Ashley's back. He's put money up in the last 2 seasons. He has, and it's been spent, and we've recruited well. So don't get me wrong. I'm not pro Mike Ashley, but he's done things over the last 2 seasons that we've wanted him to do in the last 10 years. He has to get rid of him. He has to.
Big decision for Mr. Ashley. Big decision for Lee Charnley as well. It'll be a really fascinating next few days and see what happens with Newcastle United Football Club after a 1-0 defeat against bottom of the league, Sheffield United. Big well done to them. The last word with Lee is on very, very shortly. Please stay tuned for that because you will not want to miss it. Lee is raring to go, to say the least.
Not in a good mood, is he?
No. I'm glad that I've been doing the family action, put it that way. But no, he's it's been a very tough evening. Please like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV. Thanks to everybody that's been involved in the comments and the family action show, the quick thoughts, etc. It's been brilliant, and the live stream watch along as well. Arsenal on Monday. We'll see Bruce be in the dugout, probably, but hopefully not, to say the least. My thanks to Sam Milner.
Thank you. Greenwood and Mulliner show possibly live tomorrow night at 8.
I love how it's got to possibly. Carl, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate.
From the three of us, we'll see you all very, very soon.